So
Okay, just check to see if there's any more. Just put yourself back in that situation and see if you become aware more of that want. Or is it released?
I think it's gone.
Okay, so give yourself. I guess that's a 2-checker. Okay. What was the control one?
Okay. Saturday night, this also deals with my business. We were planning for the leadership class on Monday. And the person that is directly underneath us in line, it's like a line of people, she gave her opinion of what she felt needed to take place at that meeting, and
there it goes.
Oh, I really thought I'd released on that one before, but
It might be a little wet. So, that's why you just check.
Anyway. Okay.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, another 2-checker.
I hope you don't mind if I continue to release throughout this.
No, you can. I certainly don't mind.
I don't know, it's so fun this way. It's better than crying.
Yeah.
And those of you at home, just get comfortable and pick something off of your list that either stirred up, a specific time. It stirred up your wanting approval or wanting to control. And when you think of that time, just allow yourself to be aware of whatever want it stirs up. Could you allow it to release? And just see if there's any more of it there. Whichever want it is. And could you allow yourself to let it go? And think of that specific time again. And see which want is there now. Is it the wanting approval? Or the wanting to control? And could you let go of either wanting approval or wanting to control? Just focus on that again, whichever want it was. And could you allow it to release? Think of that specific time again. Just allow yourself to be aware of whatever want is right there now about that. Whatever it is, could you let it go? And just check again. See if there's any more of that want there, or of the other. And could you allow it to release? You're probably feeling a lot better about that time or incident now. So give yourself a check in the let go column and the feel good. And let's just focus on another specific. So pick something else off of your list. Another time that stirred up your wanting approval or wanting to control. And if you're more aware of a feeling there first, that's okay. But just trace it to that underlying want. And now that you're aware of that, could you allow it to release? And just check again. Just allow yourself to be aware of more of that there. Could you allow yourself to let it go? Think of that specific again. And just see what want is there right now in the moment. Could you let it go? And just check. See if there's any more there. Could you allow it to release? Now I'm going to let you continue on your own, but do make sure that you continue to completion. Just making sure and carrying on releasing until you feel good about that specific time, that specific instance. And then make a note of it in your gains book.
Well, this brings us to the conclusion of this tape. And I just want to let you know that if you're still having a little difficulty at adapting to the wanting approval and wanting to control, we're in a transition phase. If you see that you slip back to focusing on feelings, or you feel more comfortable identifying a feeling first, don't worry about that. As you practice, you'll see that it gets easier and easier to just go right to the wanting approval and wanting to control. And the more you do that, the faster you'll move. Also, get in the habit of making releasing constant. The more you practice releasing throughout your day, you'll be moving forward more quickly. And also, if the bigger issues come up, if life presents you with a real challenge and you've been releasing that whole day or for a long period of time, and then something unexpected happens, you'll be right there ready to just let go of whatever is brought up. And also, if you notice that you have a tendency to want to kind of slip back to the way you were before, don't worry about it. It's a normal thing. If you remember last week, I talked about the fisherwoman. There's also another story that kind of illustrates that. As you can tell, I like to tell stories. But we're in a little way, we're all a little like caged birds. It's again a funny. I guess it's a funny analogy. But what we're doing on these tapes is we're learning to. We have the key now to get out of the cage. Now, last weekend, we had the cage door open, and sometimes you were probably staring at it going, I don't know if I even want to go out. It's like, I know I can get out of this cage, but I don't know if I want to do it. You might have noticed that this week as you were practicing the technique, that at times, you knew you could let go, and you said, forget it, I'm not going. I'm staying in the cage. I don't care if there's poop this high in the cage. I'm staying here. I'm used to it. And then what happens as you keep practicing with the technique, as you keep letting go, you'll start to fly out of the cage. And you go, wow, this feels really great. But then you go, wait a minute. It's unfamiliar out here. I better go back in. And you'll find yourself rushing back into the cage and slamming the door. But again, that's okay. Again, it's a normal part of the process because you now have the key. The release technique is the key to that cage, the key to open that door. So even if you find yourself running back into the cage, you'll have the key to get out. And as you keep doing it, you'll get comfortable. And you'll say, you know what, enough with the cage. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to allow myself to have the new freedom. I'm going to allow myself to have that imperturbability. So if you notice yourself occasionally going back, don't worry about it. Also, you might have noticed this week, as you've been practicing the technique, that occasionally your friends or relatives got a little nervous seeing you flying outside of the cage. They're going, wait a minute, I'm still in the cage. What are you doing out there? And they probably, at times, they may have even tried to do things to get you to fly back into your cage. Now, if that happens, don't worry about it. It's it's again normal for people around you that first feel a little threatened because, hey, you know, they were used to you being in that little confined box. But as you keep letting go and you keep releasing, you'll see that they'll go, wait a minute, what are you doing? How can I get out of my cage? And they'll want to join you. So just remember to allow it to be easy. Keep focusing on the wanting approval and wanting to control. Practice, practice, practice. Release, release, release. And now let's take a break and give you some time to focus on your releasing.
I remember the first week thinking that, yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, I can handle this. I got control of everything. But once we got into wanting approval, I realized that I've been living my life that way, and it has made all the difference. You know, that was like the missing piece. It was the clue. It was the gas in the car.
It's important to make releasing the two wants a continuous habit. If you want to reach imperturbability, you must make releasing the two wants a full-time activity. The more constantly you release, the faster your life will change for the better. The whole concept of letting go of wants, if shared out of context, can really hold people back. Encourage anyone interested in experiencing the release technique to do it for themselves with their own tapes and workbooks. Make sure you take at least an hour and a half to practice this new way of releasing before beginning the next tape.
Last week I focused on relaxation, relieving tension, and getting more done at work where I have a tremendous amount to do. And my whole state of mind last week was better, and my productivity was up. I figured up at least 20%, which is a very good because I'm already a very efficient. Last week I focused on relaxation, relieving tension, and getting more done at work where I have a tremendous amount to do. And my whole state of mind last week was better, and my productivity was up. I figured up at least 20%, which is a very good because I'm already a very efficient and productive person. And I felt I had better cooperation from the people that I was working with. My boss on Friday came in and told me he was going to buy me a new computer, a 386 instead of a 286, which will process things faster. And somebody had even noticed that my handwriting had improved. It wasn't bad, but that it looked prettier. The letters were more symmetrical. So all in all, I had a good week, and my energy level was excellent. I was sleeping about 6 hours a night and not feeling tired at all. So it was a successful week, and one I hope will duplicate next week.
Well, welcome back from the break. I'm sure you've had some good practicing of using the release technique. What we're going to do now is review what we've done up until this point. So if you don't have it out already, take out your large chart of emotions. And as you remember, last weekend, what we were doing is we were identifying our now feeling. We were tracing it to the underlying fear or grief or apathy, underlying emotion, and then letting it go. Because every time you let go of a little bit of grief, you were letting go of a little bit of all the feelings underneath it. Now what we've been doing is we've been letting go of the wanting approval and the wanting to control. Now, if you take a moment and write in wanting approval and wanting to control up here, see these little boxes? So take a moment here in the class and also at home, write in the wanting approval and wanting to control. What we'll be doing for the rest of the class is we'll be focusing on the two underlying wants that all the feelings culminate in. So every time you let go of a little bit of the wanting approval and the wanting to control, you're letting go of a little bit of all of this. And that's why the results will be even more effective than anything you've experienced up until this point. Because as you're letting go of the wanting approval and wanting to control, you're undoing all limitation, all of the uncomfortable feelings, all the things that are holding you back from having whatever it is that you want in your life. So keep it going. Keep focusing on those two wants. If feelings do come up, that's okay. You don't have to push them back down, but remember to take it a little deeper and focus on the underlying wanting approval and wanting to control. As you do that, you'll see the results really accelerate. We'll be working now in our workbooks on the page that says letting go of wants. So turn in your workbook to the page that says letting go of wants. Now, what we did up until this point, like last weekend when we worked on goals in the last couple of tapes ago, is we've been focusing on what we want, letting go of our feelings to the contrary, and seeing that it does come in a lot easier. Well, there's a much more powerful way of creating what you choose in your life, and that's actually letting go of the wants. In fact, it's our conflicting wants that cause all our suffering. We want certain things, and at the same time we don't want them, and we get stuck. Also, when we're wanting, it's blocking us from having. We all have long lists of things we've probably been wanting a very long time, and they always seem to be just a little out of our reach. And that's because want equates to lack. So what we'll be doing now is making a list of some of the things in our lives that we'd like to have, some of our wants, and some of the things that we're wanting to get rid of, some of the things that we don't want. So take a moment or two, those of you at home and those of you here, to write down some of the things that you want and some of the things that you don't want. Okay, well, let's do some work on it together. And those of you at home, you can start releasing now. You don't have to wait till it's your turn. And also remember that sometimes we'll be viewing people from this class, and sometimes we'll be viewing people from other classes. So who has a want that they'd like to let go of? Yes.
Healthy children.
Okay. All right, so are you aware of that want right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now dig a little deeper and see which underlying want it's coming from, the wanting approval or the wanting to control.
At first I would say it would be control.
Okay, so just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting to control.
Okay.
See? Did you let go of some of it? Yes. Okay, and just allow more of it to come up. Now again, you'll notice that Nikki and I will more and more just allow you to do your own releasing. We'll kind of help you, point you in that direction, and then you'll probably let go before we even ask you anything. See, you're doing it again. Just let go of more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels pretty good, really.
Okay. So it feels better?
Yeah, it feels a lot better.
All right, great. Give yourself a couple of checks.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Now, I would suggest that those of you here continue releasing along as I work with the person at home. So now it's your turn. And now remember, I can't emphasize this enough, there's nothing wrong with having. What we're doing is letting go of the wanting. The more you let go of the wanting, the more you're free to have whatever it is you choose in your life. Plus, it really frees up a tremendous amount inside to not have that wanting inside of you. So now just focus on one of the items on your list. Let's start with something that you're wanting. And as you focus on it, see which want it's coming from, the wanting approval or the wanting to control. Now, could you allow it to release the wanting approval or the wanting to control? Now, focus on that same item again, and just see which want it stirs up in the moment. Now, could you allow yourself to let go of that want? Again, focus on that thing that you're wanting. And just see whether it's coming from the wanting approval or the wanting to control. And as you become aware of it, see if you can just allow yourself to let it go. Focus on that item again. And just see if there's any more remaining wanting there, either a wanting approval or a wanting to control. And could you allow yourself to let it go? Now focus again on that item one more time. And just allow yourself to become aware of which want is stirred up in the moment. And could you let go of that wanting approval or that wanting to control? Now I'm going to go on to something that you don't want. But if you need to do some more work on this particular item, you might want to pause the tape for a moment before we move forward. So now focus on something that you're not wanting, something that you're wanting to avoid. And again, just allow yourself to become aware of which want it stirs up in the moment. Could you let it go? Focus on the item again and just allow yourself to become aware of what you're wanting in the moment. Could you allow that want to release? And just invite up more of whatever you're wanting in relation to that item. Just invite it to come up into your awareness. And remember, you don't even have to wait for me to ask you the question. If it comes up and it leaves, that's totally okay. So again, focus on the item. Focus on that thing that you're not wanting. And just allow the wanting approval or the wanting to control to come into your awareness. And then just allow it to release with ease. Now focus on the item again, that thing you're not wanting. And just allow yourself to become aware of your now want. And then just easily decide to let it go. Now I suggest you continue working on this sheet for as long as it takes and work through many items. Again, it is extremely powerful to start letting go of wanting. Not just the wanting approval and wanting control, but whatever you're wanting in your life. The more you let go of wanting, the more you can have. And also the more you can feel imperturbable moment to moment. Because no matter what is going on around you, if you're not being pulled or pushed by conflicting wants, you can be more at ease.
So welcome back, class. Welcome back, those of you at home. Hope you enjoyed your break and kept releasing during your break. We're going to work now on a worksheet in your book. So please turn to the page that has wanting to control at the top of it. What we're going to be doing here is exploring the wanting to control further. And by doing it on this sheet, we're going to be looking at two main things. The first being, what is it that we actually get from wanting to control? We do it for a reason. So what is it we're wanting? And the other reason, and the other side really, the side that's not quite as obvious, is what do we get from wanting to be controlled? And you might think that's kind of a little strange, but if you think about it, there are times when we all kind of give up our power. We let somebody or something else control us. A perfect example is really when you're a child. You want somebody to do something for you. You want somebody else to be in control. You don't. So we're going to do some further work on this in exploration. So let's take a few moments and write down what it is that you, firstly, would like to get from wanting to control. And the other thing, what is it you want to get from wanting to be controlled? Okay, so let's do some releasing together now. What we'll be doing is identifying the underlying want with whatever you wrote down and releasing that to completion, just allowing yourself to be aware of it and letting it go until you've checked your let go column and you feel good about that particular thing. So, who would like to work first? Oh, and by the way, those of you at home, do follow along, whether I'm working with somebody here in this class or whether you're watching an excerpt from another class. Just follow along and keep your releasing going. Michael, what is it? What's one thing that you want to get from wanting to control?
Oh, wait a minute. It's what do I get or what do I want to get?
What do you want to get? Either one, whichever.
Oh, I just said what I get from wanting to control, I get a headache.
Okay. All right.
I don't want one, but that's what happens often.
Okay. And when you think of that happening, what does that stir up? You're wanting approval or you're wanting to control?
Feels like approval.
Okay. And just allow yourself to be aware of the wanting. You just let it go. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Just look at it again. Are you aware of any more of that wanting approval?
No, not in that case, no.
Okay, good. Okay, Michael, so what's something that you get from wanting to be controlled?
Security.
Okay. And can you see whether that's coming from your wanting approval or your wanting to control?
Control.
Okay. Could you let go, wanting to control?
It's kind of hard.
Okay. Does it feel stuck? Okay, there it left. Okay. Well, think about that again. You're wanting security. Can you get a sense of more of the wanting to control?
No, not really. Yeah, it went away.
Okay. So how are you feeling now about that?
Pretty good. Pretty good, yeah.
Okay. Right. Don't forget to write it in your games book.
Okay, thank you.
So who else would like to work on this sheet? Who's next? What's something somebody gets from wanting to control? What do you think you're going to get? Rodney.
Ostensibly, I'm looking for power and satisfaction, but Michael said headache, and it just dawned on me that when I'm wanting to control things, I tend to tense up. My body tends to tense up, and when you do that, the blood doesn't flow as well. I probably don't think quite as well, and it may seem like I have a little headache. So a side effect of that is giving me a little bit of headache too.
Okay.
And I'm not thinking as clearly and as effectively as I might otherwise if I wasn't trying to get that control.
Okay.
But it has some downsides there too.
All right. Oh, when you think about that, does it stir up your wanting approval or your wanting to control?
I think probably control. I tend to be a controlling type person.
Okay.
So I think that's what it stirs up.
Well, now that you're aware of it, could you let it go?
But try.
Good. Well, just see if you can allow yourself to be aware of the wanting to control.
Okay.
Could you allow it to release?
Yes. Can.
Okay. See if you can be aware of any more of it there.
Still
In
some
fact,
there.
yeah, the fact that it gives you a headache makes you feel stressed.
Yes.
And could you allow that wanting to control to release?
Yes, I believe I have the ability to do that, to release that.
Could you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's see if there's any more there. When you think about...
Just a little bit left.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah. Well, just
It sneaks
focus...
up on me.
Mm-hmm. Just focus on that part that's left.
A little residue there.
Yeah. Is that the wanting to control still?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Could you allow it to
Yes.
release? Okay, good.
Good.
Good. Okay, so how is it feeling now?
Feels better. Feels
Okay.
better state of mind.
Good.
Happier state of mind.
So on the other side, what's something that you get from wanting to be controlled?
I get approval.
All right. And is that the wanting approval?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Could you allow that wanting approval to release?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you be aware of any more of it there, Rodney? The wanting approval?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
That's easier to release than the other side for me, for some reason.
All right.
But there's still a little bit left there.
See, could you let it go? That want.
Yes. Slip it away.
Well, how
feels good.
All right. Okay. So you can carry on working on your list as I'm helping
Thank
other
you.
people. All right. So who else?
I get what I want or things my way.
Oh, okay. And what's the underlying want there? The wanting approval or wanting to control?
I think control. On top anyways.
Yeah. Just let it go.
I don't know, let me see.
Or just focus on it again. The wanting to control. Getting what you want.
That part is fine. It's when you think about, okay, somebody's saying that no, you can't have it, then it's like, well, maybe I didn't get rid of all of it.
Okay.
Or something.
All right. So good. There's more there then.
Oh, I'm sure it could come up.
Okay.
Okay.
Just focus on that wanting to control again.
Yeah.
Could you allow it to release?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good. And can you get a sense of any more of it there, Cheryl? That wanting to control.
I think there's probably some approval there.
Okay. Just allow yourself to be aware of the wanting approval. Could you allow it to release?
Yes.
Good. Okay. And is there any more of it there?
I could just let some more go.
Good. And when you think of that again,
If I think of somebody telling me, no, I can't have it, then, yeah, I think
so it stirs up more. Well, when you think about that, is that the wanting to control or wanting approval?
I think it's approval.
All right. Could you allow the wanting approval to release?
I guess not.
Are you sure?
It didn't want to move at all. Maybe it did, though. Let's see.
Yeah, just check back now.
It feels better.
Focus inside, yeah. See if there's any more of the wanting approval or wanting to control when somebody says no to you.
Now it's not even coming in my head. Okay. I think it's gone.
Okay.
I'll look again.
Yes. Just look again. Just imagine someone saying that to you.
Yeah, I
No.
can. That's been a big one. It's like, boom. I don't find it, though. I think it's gone.
And let it all go.
Yeah, I think so.
Wonderful.
Good. That's great.
Give yourself some checks there.
All right.
Now on the other side, what is it that you want from wanting to be controlled?
No responsibility.
Okay.
Having somebody tell me what to do so that I don't have to worry about it.
All right. And is that coming from the wanting approval or the wanting to control?
Probably approval. Then nobody can say I did it wrong.
Okay. And just focus on that wanting approval. No one can say you did it wrong.
I feel stuck. It's like it's just right here and it's not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
Or something.
Would you like to control that it's stuck right now?
Yes.
Could you let go of wanting to control? Okay, good. Okay. Well, just think about that again.
The other one went away too.
Good. Okay.
Because I can think about somebody saying that I did something wrong and it feels okay. I don't have to feel bad about that.
All right. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
You can give yourself a couple of check marks there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. So who else?
I feel like I get approval from wanting control.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that's approval.
Yeah, wanting approval. You just let some go. See if there's any more of it there, Terry. That wanting approval. Could you allow it to release?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any more? See if you can allow yourself to be aware of more of that wanting approval.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel it.
Could you allow it to release?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can feel it going.
Good,
It's fine. I
good.
didn't complete my sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a lot of times when I want to control something is I feel the need for approval.
Yes. We often want to control people to get approval.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
To get there, to get all these other wonderful things like power and
Yes.
acknowledgement and so forth. That all comes back to approval for me.
Okay. Well, is there any more there, just as you talk about it? The wanting approval?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of that.
There goes another piece. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
How is it now?
It's getting harder to feel it.
Okay, but there's still some more there?
Yeah.
All right. Just allow yourself to be aware of the wanting approval that's there.
Okay.
Could you allow it to release?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Is there any more that you're aware of?
I think now maybe I'm feeling kind of like Cheryl. I'm wanting to let go of it, but
Okay.
I'm a little stuck.
All right. Would you like to control that?
Yeah.
That was a nice release.
Yeah.
We'll see what's there now. Are you aware of any wanting approval or wanting to control?
Well, I feel better, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I know I feel better.
All right, good. Okay. So then let's go to the other side then. What do you get from wanting to be controlled?
I get acceptance then, if I'm controlled.
Okay.
Approval.
All right.
Now we're back to this.
Good.
Okay. Well, I guess I get to release a little more of this.
Just the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do have both. Just this side isn't often as obvious.
It's amazing how much approval there is on a wanting control sheet.
Yes. Very often there are both the wants there, though.
Mm-hmm.
So just focus inside again, Terry. See if there's any more of that wanting approval.
Okay.
Could you let it go?
Yeah.
Good. Is there any more of it there? Could you allow it to release and just let it go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can. Piece of cake.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how is it now?
It's good. Yeah, that's good.
Good. Give yourself a couple of checks.
Okay.
there. So let's do some releasing now with our home viewer. So those of you here in the class, just keep focused on your releasing and continue along as I release with our viewers at home. So, those of you at home, just get comfortable and pick something from your worksheet that you're wanting to get from wanting to control? Just see what want is underlying that. Is it the wanting approval? Or you're wanting to control? Could you allow it to release? Just focus again. See if there's any more of that there. Whichever want it was. And could you allow it to release? And when you think of that thing that you think you're going to get from wanting to control, just allow whatever the want is there, just to come into your awareness. And could you allow it to release? And take a look at that again. Is there more of that want there? Could you let it go? And when you think about what you want to get from wanting to control, just see what want is there right now. Could you allow it to release? And just see if there's any more of it there. And whichever want is there, could you let it go? Now let's go to the other side now. What's something that you want from wanting to be controlled? Just see what want is underlying that. The wanting approval or the wanting to control. And could you allow it to release? Just check again. See if there's any more of that want there. Could you let it go? And just check again. See what want is there right now. Is it the wanting approval or the wanting to control? Could you allow it to release? And just think again, when you think about what it is that you want to get from wanting to be controlled. Just allow whatever want is there, just to come into your awareness. Just allow yourself to be aware of it. And could you allow it to release? And just one more time, check and see if there's any more of it there. And could you let it go? Okay. Now continue working on these sheets, taking the things that you want to get from wanting to control and things that you want to get from wanting to be controlled, and keep releasing whatever want comes up and letting that go until you feel good. And then make sure you check on each side of the column there, the let go and the feel good. So take some extra time now and pause the tape and just carry on working on this quietly on your own. Now we're going to do the same thing again, but this time with the wanting approval. So those of you at home and those of you here, turn to the page in your book that says wanting approval. And the wanting approval has two sides to it also. We think we're going to get certain things from wanting approval. But on the other side, there are times when we want disapproval. You might want to think of it a little bit in terms of the rebel. You all know somebody who's kind of a rebel and likes disapproval, wants disapproval. Well, there's part of us that has that inside too. So we're going to explore that, just the wanting disapproval and the wanting approval. So I'm going to give you a few moments here to write down some of the things again. What do you get from wanting approval? And what do you get from wanting disapproval? So let's find out what you got down here in terms of the wanting approval and the wanting disapproval. And those of you at home, just keep releasing with whoever I'm releasing with and keep your focus on that. So who would like to go first? Michael, what is it that you get from wanting approval?
Disappointment.
Oh, okay. And what does that stir up, the wanting approval or the wanting to control?
Control.
All right. Could you let go of wanting to control?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Is there any more of that then? When you think about it, you get disappointment, just more releasing.
Disappointment, yeah.
Can you get a sense of more of that wanting to control there?
Yeah, wanting to control a disappointment.
Yeah. Could you let it go?
Yeah.
Okay. See if there's any more of it there.
That's pretty good.
Okay, good. All right. So let's move to the other side then.
Okay.
What is it you get from wanting disapproval?
I get a lot of confidence.
Oh, okay. And is that wanting approval or wanting to control?
Yeah, it's like self-approval.
Okay. And could you allow that wanting approval to release?
It's control, is what it is.
Zip and change. Okay.
Yeah.
You just allow yourself to be aware of any wanting to control there. Good. Just letting it go. When you think about it, giving you confidence. Is there any more wanting to control that? Or wanting approval there?
No, I feel control, but I don't think it's wanting to feel control. Maybe it's wanting to control, I don't know.
How's it now? When you think about wanting disapproval and the confidence there, you feel it gives you confidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
feel it does give me confidence.
Okay. The truth is, in fact, it's when you let go of wanting it and you have the approval for yourself and for others, that's when you do feel confident. You're not wanting to try and get it from someplace or someone else. You have it right inside of you. And so, in fact, when you're released and you're not wanting it, that's really when you have it.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So you're feeling okay?
Yeah, super.
Good. So give yourself some checks there. I'm writing the Gaines book. So who's next? Okay, Cheryl. What is it you get from wanting approval?
Acceptance. Or that's what I want to get.
Okay. And is that wanting approval or wanting to control?
Approval.
Okay. Could you let go of wanting approval?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you feel any more of it there? That wanting approval?
Mm-hmm. Some.
See, could you allow it to release?
I'm sure I could.
You're holding on to some there?
Every time I talk to you.
You hold on and you let go, which
I think I'm holding on. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, just see. That holding on, is that coming from your wanting approval or wanting to control?
I think wanting to control.
Yeah. Could you allow it? Good, okay. Just left.
Yeah, it did.
Well, think about the wanting acceptance then. That's what you think you're going to get from wanting approval.
Yeah.
You see what wants there now concerning that.
That feels better.
Okay. So you let it go?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Give yourself a couple of checks then. And then on the other side, what is it you get from wanting to be controlled? Sorry, wanting disapproval.
Attention. I think Mary said that already.
Okay, that's okay though.
And it's like a reaction too. Sometimes to get a reaction from somebody, which gives you
Okay.
control over them.
Ah.
I'll just lump these all together.
When you think about that, is there any more wanting to control that or wanting approval?
Yeah, I just let it go.
Good. So how is it now?
There's still some there. Some control.
Okay. Could you allow it to release?
Yes.
Okay.
I sure can, right? That was good. That feels better too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So who else? Dave, what is it you get from wanting approval?
Frustration.
Okay. And what does that stir up? You're wanting approval or you're wanting to control?
Control.
Okay.
Does. Very much so.
You in touch with it?
You bet.
You let some go, but just get a sense of it again, Dave. That wanting to
Okay.
control. Could you allow it to release?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you feel more of it there, that wanting to control?
There's a lot of it there.
Okay. Would you like to control how
Bill.
much? Yeah?
Over time.
Mm-hmm. Or would you like to control how much there is there that's built up over time?
Never thought of it like that. Probably.
Uh-huh.
Probably would.
Could you allow that to release? Okay. Is there any more wanting to control that? How much has accumulated?
It's better.
Okay,
It
good.
is better.
Good.
Mhm.
Well, look at that thing again and see if there's any more wanting to control or any wanting approval.
More wanting control.
Okay.
Mhm.
Could you
It's
let...
better.
Uh-huh.
It is. It's
Yeah, you let go of a lot.
Yes.
But just that part that's left, just let yourself be aware of the wanting to control. And could you let it go?
Yeah, I could let it go. I have the feeling that I want to hold on to some of it, though.
Oh. Would that be for control or approval?
Control.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
Much better. Mhm.
You know, it's the same decision that we use to hold on to a feeling or to let it go. It's actually the same thing. You know, often I could ask you, could you hold on to a feeling? You'd say, yeah, fine. You know, it's the same thing. If I ask you, could you let it go? It's exactly the same decision that you use to let it go.
Okay, thank you. That's
Okay.
good. That's good.
So give yourself a couple of checks there. Okay. So let's do some releasing now with a home viewer. And you can all keep just working and focusing on this, allowing whatever wants are there in the moment just to release. Okay, so just get comfortable and find something on your list that you want to get from wanting approval. And whatever that thing is, just see what the underlying want is that's connected with it. Is it the wanting approval or the wanting to control? Could you allow that want to release? Just look again. Is there any more of that want there? Could you let it go? And when you think what you want to get from wanting approval, just see what want is there now in the moment.
When I took this course, the main thing that I realized from taking the course is that I have lived my life in fear. And it angered me or saddened me because I realized that little things I was fearful of. You know, I got in touch with that feeling. Now that I know what it was and I'm able to release it, it's opening up so much more for me. I'm open to more new adventures that don't scare me, you know. I'm not fearful of things at all. I'm sure that there's something out there that bothers me, but right now it's like, all right, let's go for it. You know, what's next? I can't wait, and I'm real excited about that.
I went back to work Friday, and the girls noticed a dramatic improvement. They said, I didn't think you could get any happier. Oh, it was incredible, and I found that in most cases, I'm always always were, or was, intimidated by the customer in the fact that I didn't want to be pushy. You know, we weren't on commissions, but I could, you know, they always put up their guard when we would approach them, and told us back off. But I found that Friday and Saturday, nobody backed away from me. It was incredible. I just couldn't believe it, and which made me that much happier, you know.
Good morning and welcome back, those of you at home and those of you here. What we've done so far, as you know, is we've started working on this new way of releasing the wanting approval and the wanting to control. And we're actually going to take that a step further this morning. There is one want that is deeper than the wanting approval and wanting to control, and that's our wanting security or survival. Basically, we want approval in order so we can be safe. In other words, if everyone approved of you, you can go in the middle of Iraq, and if everyone in Iraq loved you and approved of you, you'd be safe. So we want approval in order to be safe, or to feel secure. And then the way the wanting to control comes into all that is we want to control them to make them approve of us so we can feel safe. So the bottom line underneath both of those wants is the wanting security or survival. So what we'll be doing today, in addition to releasing the wanting approval and wanting to control, is we'll be releasing that wanting security or survival. Now remember, we're letting go of the wanting. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with being secure. In fact, the more you let go of the wanting security and survival, the more you feel secure, no matter what is going on around you. And these days, that can really come in handy. I mean, if you just look at the newspaper or watch television, it's not hard to have a lot of your insecurity come up. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with the economy. Everything keeps changing. Well, as you start letting go of your wanting security or survival, what that does is it starts to make you a lot more in control and a lot calmer and focused and centered in the moment, no matter what is going on around you. So rather than talk about it, we'll explain that more as we go along. What I'd like to do now is have someone volunteer to work on something, and I'll show you how that fits. So who has something they'd like to work on, and I'll show you how this new wanting security or survival will relate to that.
I'll give it a try.
Sure.
Okay.
So what is it you want to work on?
I don't know.
What's that? Tell me a little bit about what you want to work on.
I was just volunteering. Something that I want to work on.
Yeah.
That would make, about being secure.
Yeah, well, see if there's an issue in your life that you think might relate to the wanting security and survival, and I'll show you how to use it, the releasing with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to stay alive.
Okay. Relating to the illness you mentioned yesterday, perhaps, or?
Specifically, yes, but in general, even. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the more specific we can be, the better. In other words, when we get too general, it's hard to get in touch with the want in the moment. So allow yourself to be specific. Think of a specific situation or problem in your life that might be stirring up your wanting security or survival. And remember, those of you at home don't have to wait until we work together. You can start doing this too.
Okay, I think, and it's prevalent in my life. I feel a lot more secure inside my house than I do outside my house, because anything could happen.
Right.
You know, car accident,
Okay.
shot and killed, anything.
Right. All right. So when you talk about that, though, about leaving your house into this potentially hostile world, see if you can just allow some of that wanting security to come into your awareness, that sense of lacking security.
I can feel it.
All right. Could you allow it to release?
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another want.
Yeah, I thought that's what we wanted. No.
Well, we do. All the time. We're constantly in. The wanting security and survival is so prevalent, we're in it all the time. It's like you can't see, it's like the water that we swim around in. So it's there all the time. We're actually drowning in it. But as you start to release it, you'll see that there's an inner sense of security that will get very strong within you, so that no matter what's going on around you, you can feel secure. And also very importantly, for instance, if you were in the middle of a car accident, but you weren't upset by it, don't you think you would steer the right way, do the right thing in the moment? Most of the time it's our insecurity, our panic, our fear of dying that causes us to act in ways right when we're in a situation that could be life-threatening in the way that threatens our life. But as you let go of that wanting security or survival, even when a situation has potential threat, you know what, if the train's coming at you 100 miles an hour and you're standing on the tracks, no one has to convince you you have to get off the tracks. But I'm sure you've had situations in your life where, not necessarily standing in front of a train, I don't think most of us do that too often, but we're in that situation like that, and the wanting security causes us to freeze. Whereas if you don't have it, you go, wait a minute, there's a train coming, and you step aside. It doesn't take a lot of intellectual understanding to know what to do. But our wanting security and survival causes us to do the exact opposite. It causes us to act in ways constantly. We're constantly doing things to protect this body when it's totally unnecessary. And then when it is necessary, we miss the boat. All from the wanting security and survival.
So like what you were saying is wanting security means you don't have security.
Right. That's what we're letting go of, that sense of not having it.
And then we'll have it.
Right.
Okay.
All right. All right, so just again, look at that when you leave your house and you kind of go out into the world. Can you get a sense of that wanting security or survival?
Yeah. It's such a habit.
Right, it is a habit. It's a very strong habit, but it is breakable. But just a look, as you see, just like the wanting approval and control, as you become aware of it, it is easy to release.
That's amazing.
Okay. Focus on it again. Just allow more of it when you think about leaving your house. Not hard for you, just...
Well, every time you touch it, it goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's moving.
Good. Okay. Now just look at that again, having economic security. And what does that stir up in the moment?
Still some security.
Wanting security? All right.
Security, insecurity.
Right. So that's a wanting security. Just allow yourself to become aware of it. And I'll be quiet a moment and just allow you to release it.
Okay. It's feeling better.
Feeling better? Okay, you're still holding on to a little bit though, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Deep-seated.
Right. Now, are you wanting to control your security?
Possibly.
Okay.
There's an element there of control to
All right.
lock it in place.
Right.
That won't go away.
Right. So could you let go of wanting to control your security?
Okay.
How's it now?
That helped.
Right.
Feels better.
Feels better? Okay, good. Let's take one more look inside, though. Just focus on that whole topic of economic security and see if it stirs up any other want in the moment.
Well, maybe a little bit of control
Okay.
to guarantee it.
Right. Make sure you get it. All right. All right. And I'll be quiet again, just allow you to release it.
Okay. Feels better.
Good. Would you say that's a gain?
Yes, definitely.
Good. Now look, what happens is as you let go of that financial insecurity, very often there might be a whole range of options or opportunities or even things that could come to you that you're not even aware of now because you're wanting. The wanting is blocking it. So there's nothing wrong with being economically secure. What we're letting go of is that wanting security, that sense that we lack it.
You know, it's almost as if we're denying ourselves that via that want.
Absolutely. We are. We keep ourselves in not having it. Okay?
Yes.
I would write that down because you'll forget it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Yes. Terry.
I think one of the things that I want in my life is a relationship,
Mhm.
a meaningful relationship with a man.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure right now whether I can get in touch with that. But I know it's there.
All right. Well, just think about that. How long have you been wanting a relationship?
That's a good question too. I've been divorced for about 4 years, but I might have wanted one while I was married.
I know, I did use the word meaningful, right?
This kind of could go back. Yeah. I worked pretty hard to have one at that point too,
Right.
and I wanted that during my marriage as
Right.
well, and I wanted that to work.
Right.
So I'm getting in touch with it now.
I see. Okay. Now, what is coming up? Is it the wanting approval, the wanting control, or the wanting security or survival?
All of the above.
Which are you most aware
Okay.
of? Take the one you're most in touch with.
I think maybe approval.
Okay.
I can.
Now just allow yourself to be aware of the wanting approval. Now could you allow it to release? Remember, it's just a want.
Yeah.
See, more's coming up. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
You've been wanting that a
Yeah.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us spend a lot of our lives wanting that other person, that special someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deep one. So just allow yourself to become aware of what want is stirring up in the moment. Is it still the wanting approval?
Well, I think I can feel a lot of survival.
Okay.
My palms are sweating.
Okay. All right, so now just allow yourself to become aware of that wanting security or survival.
Okay.
Could you allow it to release?
Yeah, when you touch on it, you can
Right.
open up that little hinge.
Right, and it releases. It's not hard. So just allow yourself to become aware of more of it. Open the hinge a little more.
Okay.
Now, could you
Scary,
just?
you know.
I know. Well, we run from it.
Yeah.
We run from it, but then it's like having the tiger by the tail, though. When we're running from wanting security or survival or any of the wants, you're afraid to let go because you're afraid the tiger is going to turn around and bite you. But believe me, it's hard work to always have the tiger by the tail, and they bite you anyway.
Right.
So just allow yourself to become aware of that want.
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Okay. See, as you just allow it to come into your awareness,
Right.
it releases easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, look one more time. Just pull a little more of it up.
Okay. It's kind of stuck right here.
Right. Okay.
I think I
Would-
can feel that physically.
Yeah. Would you like to control that?
Yeah.
Could you let go of wanting to control it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it release when you let go?
Yeah.
Yeah. The important thing to remember for those of you here and also those of you at home, if you're ever stuck with the releasing, or even if you're aware that you're in a particular want but it's not releasing, just let go of wanting to control that. When you let go of wanting to control whatever it is that you're aware of in the moment, then it will just release very easily.
Because up here, I think,
Right.
yeah, this is good. I want to get rid of all
Right.
of it.
Yeah, well, this
Somewhere
here
down
and
here,
here,
you're holding,
here,
yeah.
don't always cooperate.
Right.
But the more you release, you'll find that what happens is most of us spend a lot of our lives kind of like this, kind of out of a line, or maybe more like this. But as you release, everything comes into line.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's most of the time our heart and our head don't agree. It's like it's a fight. But as you keep releasing, you find harmony within yourself. And the two line up so that you can easily start to do what you know is right for you and avoid the things you know that aren't right. Okay? You can keep going with that?
I'll go with that for a while.
All right. Well, we'll have more opportunity to
Yeah.
work on it soon. Okay?
Okay, good,
Good.
thanks.
No, you just keep going on whatever you're working on in the moment. I'm going to give the home viewer a chance to do some releasing on this too. Some of you might be going, yeah, give me my turn. So anyway, just allow yourselves at home, just allow yourself to focus on a specific situation that may have stirred up your wanting security or survival. And remember, those of you here do the same thing. Now just allow yourself to become aware of whatever you're wanting in the moment, whether it's the wanting security right now or the wanting approval or wanting control. Now as you become aware of it, could you let it go? Focus on that same situation again and just allow yourself to become aware of that wanting security or survival or one of the other wants. And could you just let it go? Now again, just focus on that same situation and see which want it brings up in the moment. Remember, you can only release on your now want. Not what you wanted back then, but what you're wanting right now. Could you let it go? Now focus on the situation again. And just check to see what your now want is in the moment. Whatever you're wanting, could you allow it to release? Okay, take one more look inside. And just allow yourself to focus on whatever you're wanting in the moment. Just allow yourself to become aware of your now want. And could you let it go? Could you? Now what I suggest you do is pause the tape for a moment and just allow yourself to keep releasing with this new way of releasing. Just keep allowing the wants to come into your awareness and allowing them to release. It doesn't have to be difficult. You'll see that you won't even necessarily need to ask yourself any questions. Just as you become aware of it, just allow yourself to let it go.
I worked a lot on my financial situation, and I realized that I'm my own worst enemy. And by releasing my goals of employment and receiving some income, I was able to accomplish and to make some clearer decisions, communicate with other people, and really look at things a little bit more objectively. And by staying focused on it and not kind of interfering with myself and confusing myself, I really think I made a lot of progress. I've got 2 potential areas of income, and I have a resume into a job opportunity that just kind of popped up that seems like that might work. And so I'm not there, but I'm going to keep releasing and pretty soon be where I'm supposed to be, I'm sure.
I felt a lot more vibrant this week. That somehow my feelings and emotions have just been less numb. They've been more vibrant.
So, welcome back from the break, and those of you at home, we're going to be working now on another release sheet, one that's going to help further your releasing in regards to the wanting security and also the wanting approval and control. So turn in your books to the page that says Remember. And this time we're going to be focusing on specific instances that you remember your wanting security or your wanting survival that got stirred up. Might have been going for a job interview. You might have lost your passport in a foreign country. Whatever it was, just a couple of ideas there. But let me give you a few moments, those of you at home and those of you here, to think of some specific instances where that applies. Okay, so let's do some releasing on this together now. And those of you at home, be sure to focus on your specific instance and release along as I'm working with others and you're watching others release. Okay. So who would like to begin? Dave.
A while back, my wife and I were on a flight out of Honolulu, and we were in a rather severe storm, and evidently the plane was struck by lightning. There was this tremendous explosion. There was pandemonium aboard. All the passengers were in a panic. And if anything ever brought up the wanting of survival, it was then.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when you think about that time now, Dave, which want gets stirred up about that? Is it the wanting approval or the wanting to control? Or is it the wanting survival?
Well, I think basically it was control. I would have liked to have had better control of the situation than what I had.
Okay. You just allow yourself to be aware of that wanting to control, like that out of control. Could you allow it to release? Okay. Is there more of it there? That wanting to control?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Could you let it go? Okay.
Feels lighter.
Right. Just think of the time again. Just think of yourself in that situation with your wife. And what want is there right now?
Probably survival.
Okay. Just allow yourself to be aware of that wanting survival. Could you allow it to release? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any more of it there?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. You see, that kind of situation really does stir it up. But could you allow more of it now to release? That idea that you lack it. Could you just let that go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's more there still,
Yes,
though, isn't
well,
there?
But it feels better.
Yeah. See,
It
you
does feel better.
let a lot go, just seeing and being aware of it. But that part that's left, is it still the wanting survival?
Yes.
Could you allow it to release?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. I really don't feel the pressure that was there now that I felt earlier.
Good, good. Let's just go back and check one more time. That's the key. When you check and you think about that time again, and you think about being in that situation, are you aware of any of the wants there now?
There was. I think I just
Yeah,
let
no,
it
I
go.
think you did too, yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's a key though. You could, if you keep checking back, even now, think of it again, Dave. Think of that time. What's there now? How are you feeling about it?
You know, fine. It seems rather comical at this point.
Okay, good. So you let it all go.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah,
say that that's a gain?
Definitely. Definitely.
Good. So who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Chris.
Things are just coming up all over the place. Dave brought that up. I had thought of two situations that had presented imminent danger for me, that and a lot of fear, that stirred up my wanting security and survival.
Okay.
But I noticed when Dave brought up his situation that it made me think of another one that I was in that even went a little bit deeper because of the simple fact that I think when I worked through the situation, it was a situation where I had such a lack of control that it was even more, the feeling of fear was even more imminent. One situation, I was at gunpoint over an issue, and I chose to turn and run. An incredible adrenaline rush and immediate decision and flight, of course, in a fight or flight reaction.
Right.
Another situation was in a subway in New York City in the wrong part of town at the wrong time of night. But you know, those situations are something that you have a little bit more control of. The last situation you were talking about, a flight, I was in a flight that was flying into Boston Logan, and the cargo bay door had light had come on that it was indicating that it was open, and the captain came on and very nonchalantly spoke, you know, informed everybody that this cargo bay door was open. And, well, you didn't think too much about it. A minute later, he said we have to fly by the tower so they can actually see if it's open or if it's just a faulty light. Well, when they, just before they did that, he went on and explained, well, it won't be a big problem. We'll just have to land and the door will tear off, but we'll want equipment thereby. And the thing that I remember the most is everybody on the plane, that feeling, you know, it's not one that you would think like when you see on TV how everybody gets frantic. It's everybody tries to cover everything up and how they really feel. And especially if you're in a situation where I was by myself, and so I really didn't know the people next to me, but I did. Everybody knew everybody, and it was like the lack of being able to do anything was really, and I can definitely feel that, and the fear of just, you know, thinking about what's going to happen over the next 10 minutes, and that could be it.
Well, now that you've talked about it a little, let's do some releasing on it. What's the want that's stirred up there right now that you're aware of?
Control.
Okay. Could you let go of wanting to control? Just the wanting.
Yes.
Okay. Can you get in touch with any more of it? That wanting to control. Could you allow it to release?
Yes.
Okay. When you think of that again, is there any more of that wanting to control there?
There's a little.
Okay. Just let me know when you let it go.
I let that go, and also some of the security and survival that was
Okay,
with it,
good.
too.
Good. Well, just think about that situation again. Just imagine yourself. See, it brings up more. Yeah. Which one does it stir up, Chris?
Definitely getting deeper to the survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just allow yourself to be aware of it. Could you allow it to release?
Yes. It's a tough one, but
Yeah.
once you get in touch with it,
Yeah. It's that kind of wanting to run away from it.
yeah.
And just see if you can get in touch with any more. That idea that you lack security, survival.
Yeah. Feel much better about it now.
Okay.
Especially
You let it
after
go.
living through it to tell about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels much better.
Okay, good. Would you say that that's a gain?
Definitely.
Okay. You can give yourself a couple of checks there and write in your gains book.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. So who's next? Who would like to work next on this sheet? It's a very powerful way of really getting in touch with the wants there and letting them go. Whether it be from the past or yesterday, still the past. Michael.
This was pretty hard. Pretty good in the moment, but opening the door to insecurity in the past.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pick out a specific instance,
Okay.
and I've had like this, in a plane and have a gun on you and people cheating you in business and stuff. But they all pale in comparison to just this general feeling that I have of insecurity as a child. And so what I'd like to do, if I could, is just take a day
Okay.
when I was a child.
Okay, let's do that then. Can you think of a day when you were a child? Does a specific day come to mind?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. When you think of that day, Michael, which want is there about it right now? Is it the wanting approval, the wanting to control, or the wanting security, survival?
It's hostility.
Okay. Let's trace that a little deeper. Can you get a sense of which want is underlying that?
It's control.
Okay. Could you let go of wanting to control? Just the wanting to. Okay.
Trying to relax my grip.
Are you wanting to control all the feelings there? The wants there?
Yeah, I'm holding it pretty tight.
Yeah, okay. Could you let go of wanting to control in that way? By holding on tight?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. See if there's any more of it there. That wanting to control what's there.
No.
Okay, good. So when you think of that day as a child, what want is there right now?
It's better. I'm giving myself approval.
Wonderful.
Maybe a little wanting approval. It's a
Okay.
little
Okay.
cocky, I guess, yeah.
There it goes. Okay.
Yeah, it's more now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just check again and think of that day you have in mind as a child.
Okay.
What want is there now?
Yeah. Feels like I would just like to be happy.
Okay. Is that the wanting approval or wanting to control? Or wanting security?
It feels like security.
Yeah.
I just like to feel secure.
Could you allow that wanting security to release?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going away.
Yeah. Is there any more of it there, that wanting to be happy, wanting to be secure? Something we can all relate to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'd like to be happy.
Okay. Is there any wanting to control how happy you are? How is that now?
It's good.
Okay. Would you say that's a game?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would a lot.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
It's wonderful. And also just to know that when we feel happy, we feel secure. It's not even an issue. And it just is inside of us. It's not an issue at all. And vice versa. You know, when we feel secure, I guess, we feel happy. It's when we're wanting it that we don't. So as you release your wanting security, you'll also feel that much happier because you're that much more confident and secure within yourself. So you allow the happiness to be there. Okay, so let's do some releasing now with our home viewer. So just continue here on your own, taking specifics and releasing whatever want comes up about that time. And if you're not aware of the wanting security or survival at the moment, that's okay. Just go with whatever is in the moment. So those of you at home, just get comfortable. You probably started releasing on this sheet already, so we'll either continue with the one you've started, or you can pick a fresh one if you've already released to completion on that. So just focus on a specific time when you wanted security or wanted survival. And when you think of that time, just see what want is stirred up about that. The wanting approval, the wanting to control, or was it the wanting security, wanting survival? Just allow yourself to be aware of that want. Could you let it go? And just check inside. See if there's more of that want there. Could you allow it to release? Just think of that specific time again. And allow yourself to be aware of the want that gets stirred up there about that. Whatever it is, could you allow it to release? And just look again. See if you can feel any more of that remaining want there. Could you allow yourself to let it go? Think of that time or that incident again. See what want is there now. Is it the wanting approval? The wanting to control? Or the wanting security, wanting survival? Could you allow it to release? And just let it go. So if there's any more of it there, just check inside. And allow yourself to be aware of any more of that want there. Or if another one's kind of come up, that's okay. Just focus on that. Could you allow it to release? Let's just check one last time. And think of that incident again. Just see if there's any remaining wanting approval, or wanting to control, or wanting security there. That idea that you lack it. And if there is, could you allow it to release? I'm going to let you continue on your own. Keep focusing on this time until it's all cleaned up, until you feel good about it. You can check off the feel-good column. And then take each of the specifics that you wrote down and focus on those, releasing whatever want is there in the moment about that.
Just to review how the wanting security and survival fits with the wanting approval and control. Again, the wanting security and survival is really the bottom line. That's what's the underpinning of what's holding together all of our limitation, all of our uncomfortable feelings, all of the problems that we have. Now again, we want approval so that we can feel safe and survive. If everyone loves us, then we'll feel safe and survive. And then underneath that is the wanting to control. We want to control, to make them approve of us so that we can feel safe and survive. And something I didn't mention earlier is sometimes we give up on ever getting the approval. So then we go directly to wanting to control in order to survive. And you probably know people like that, have given up on ever getting approval in order to feel safe. So what they do is they say, who cares about you? And they just go for the goal, and they'll do anything to get it. You've all met people like that. You've all had experiences like that where you didn't care about approval. You were just going to control in order to survive. So that's how it all relates together. So the important thing to remember is that whatever want you're aware of in the moment, that's what you need to focus on. There is no better want to release on. If you're aware of the wanting to control, just allow that to release. If you're aware of the wanting approval, just allow that to release. And then, of course, if you're aware of the wanting security or survival, just allow yourself to let it go. Also, as you keep working with the three wants, you'll notice that there'll be times when you start to feel really good. All of you have probably already noticed that. As you even just letting go of feelings or just started letting go of wanting approval and control, you start to hit a very calm, peaceful place inside. You'll start to feel happier. Remember to use that time to release too. Now there are a couple ways to work with that. First of all, when we feel good, very often we're wanting to hold on to it. And that's us wanting to control the good feeling. We feel good, we're not sure we're going to stay feeling good, so we want to hold on to it. And what, of course, happens is it slips away. When you're wanting to control the good feeling, bye-bye good feeling, it leaves. That's why we talked about last week and even letting go of even the good feelings. The other thing is, when you're feeling really good, that's a wonderful time to do further releasing. Remember, the key to getting the maximum benefit out of this technique is making your releasing constant. And the way to do that is keep releasing when you're feeling good. And there are two ways to do that. One is just you're feeling good, so focus on an issue that you know you still have some want stirred up about, either from a current issue that you're trying to deal with or something from the past. Or you can just sit there or stand or wherever you're involved in feeling good and just allow the wants to come into your awareness and allow them to release. You don't even need to necessarily think of a specific circumstance. In other words, you know that you still have some wanting to control left, don't you all? Don't you all know that? You still have some wanting to control left? See, now just if you allow it to, it will come up into your awareness and you can let it go. So you can be allowing the wants to come into your awareness and keep letting them go all day long, and that's a great way to keep releasing constant. You don't have to wait for the world to push you, because believe me, it will. If you wait, it will push. But if you're willing to keep releasing constant, what happens is the world no longer has to push you around. You feel more and more in control of your world, more and more the master. And that's one of the goals of this course, is to make you completely the master of your world. So if you're willing to make releasing constant, keep releasing the 3 wants, you'll start to see that happening. So now we're going to take a break. So take a 15-minute break or so, and then we'll start again. What we'll be doing now is working on another release sheet in our books. So open your book to the page that says Dissolving Stuckness at the top of it. Now stuckness, well, what we mean by stuckness is just very simply, it's a particular area that you've been trying to do something about, either in your life or just when you're releasing, it's not moving. In other words, a particular feeling that you have all the time, maybe you're angry a lot or you're sad a lot, or a particular problem like smoking or being overweight, or a particular problem relationship. You might not sure you want to stay in a relationship, or you might be about to get into a relationship and you're not sure whether that's the right thing. Another example could be you've gotten a job offer in another city and you're not sure whether to go. You're stuck about making a decision. So any area where you feel a little stuck, where you feel like just some focus releasing on that area will help you get unstuck, get you moving again. That's what I mean. So take a moment and think of a topic that you'd like to do some further releasing on, and then we'll continue. Now, by the way, before we get started, I just want to let you know that just because the sheet is called Dissolving Stuckness, there's no stigma attached. It's a very powerful sheet to use to do further releasing on any topic. So, who'd like to has something they'd like to release?
I have something.
Okay, great.
It's something that I've worked on throughout the time that we've been here, and I just can't seem to get anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
The situation in my office with the different people that work there has gotten very adversarial over the last 8 or 9 months, 7 or 8 months. And it's not as pleasant a place to work as it used to be, and I've been avoiding it, different things like that, and I don't seem to be able to get to a place where I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, so what did you put at the top of the page as the topic?
Situation at the office.
Okay. So, well, that's a little, you might want to do,
The adversarialness.
no, you could do, well, there's a couple ways to approach it. One is you could do advantages and disadvantages of being in that office.
Mm-hmm.
The other one you could do advantage, disadvantage of leaving. And then you also could do on the problem itself, advantages and disadvantages of having, of that problem at work.
How about dealing with that problem at work? I don't think it's going to change, and I don't want to leave right now.
But see, the thing is, well, if you say of dealing with it, it'd be hard for you to pull it up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You have to focus a little more on the problem itself.
The problem is the interaction between the people at work in the office.
Well, you know what you could do? You could do it very simply. It's advantages and disadvantages of having work be the way it is.
Okay.
How's that?
That's exactly it.
All right, good. So write that down.
Okay, having work be the way it is.
And by the way, that's a good thing to do on any topic, because very often we're stuck in having things the way they are at the moment. And if you start to do advantage, disadvantages of having it be that way, it's a way of taking more responsibility and a way of starting to open it up and release. So what advantage is it to you to have work be that way?
Well, I stay away from the office, so I guess that gets me at home more and I get more work done.
Okay. So is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting survival?
Control.
Okay. I'm going to be quiet and just allow you to release it.
Okay. Okay. I feel good.
Okay, good. 2 checks. Now, what disadvantage is it to you
Um,
to have the office be that way?
Makes me uncomfortable when I have to go in there and I know what's going on.
Mm.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. And does that stir up your wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting survival?
Actually, I think it's approval. In some way. It starts with control, but I think it's approval.
Okay, so just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting approval. And then when you're ready, you can just let it go.
Some of it.
Okay. You're still holding on to some of it? Could you allow the rest of it to release?
I think I'm trying to hang on to it.
Okay. It's a little stuck.
Yeah, just let that go.
You let it go? Okay, how's it now?
So,
It's better?
yeah, that feels good.
Okay, 2 more checks?
Okay. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm doing it too fast and maybe I'm not getting all of it. I
Okay.
guess I'll just work on it.
Okay, well, look, if that comes up, is that a wanting approval or a wanting control?
Well, first it's wanting control.
Okay, so are you aware of any of the wanting control right now? Did you let it go?
No.
Now you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, before we go any further, I just want to say a couple of things to all of you here and also those of you at home about the sheet. First of all, as you notice, we started with an advantage, then we went to a disadvantage. This is not about making 2 lists. You do an advantage, and then you do a disadvantage. And the reason for that is each advantage and disadvantage put together make one layer of feeling about that whole topic, one layer of wants. So you're taking off a whole layer when you get an advantage and a disadvantage. So I'll say more about it as we keep working on it. But remember, you can start working at home if you'd like. All right, so what advantage is it to you to have work be that way?
I don't think there is an advantage. It makes it more difficult for me.
Okay, but write that down. That's what came up. I don't think there is an advantage. It makes it more difficult for me. Remember, this is not an intellectual exercise. There is no right or wrong thing to write down on either column. And does that stir up a wanting approval or wanting control?
It's approval. Because I shouldn't be doing this.
Right. Did you let it go?
Let me see. Yeah, I feel better about it.
Okay, 2 more checks. So what disadvantage is it to you to have work be that way?
It's a loss because it used to be a very nice place to work,
Okay.
and now it's not anymore.
So write that down. It's a loss. And see which want that stirs up. Approval, control, or security.
First thing that came in my head is more like security.
Okay. So just allow yourself to become aware of that wanting security.
That's harder for me.
Okay.
So,
Would you like to control that?
I guess I would. Yeah.
Did you just let it go?
Yeah, I did.
See, you can always go back to that. Even if you know it's a wanting security or any of the other ones, and it's hard to release it, remember you can always let go of wanting to control that, and it just releases. Okay. See, let's do one more of each, and then I'll let you keep going on your own. What advantage is it to you to have the office be that way?
Well, I've removed myself, or I feel like I've divorced myself from the office, so I only deal with one person in there, so I guess that's an advantage.
Okay. So I would write that
Deal
down.
with it.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with it, sure.
That's control.
Okay. Again, as you notice, I'm letting you do the releasing. I'm not it.
Mhm. Okay.
Did you let it go?
I think some of it, let me see.
You're still saving some?
I think so. doesn't want to go away.
So it's still a little stuck there?
Mhm.
Are you wanting to control that?
Yeah. Okay.
You see? That is like the escape valve of the method. You can always let go of wanting to control whatever you're experiencing in the moment, and then it dissolves.
That does work.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right, so what disadvantage is it to you to have the office be that way?
It makes me feel bad.
Makes you feel bad?
Mhm.
Okay.
That goes back to the loss, but that's what came up.
Okay, makes you feel bad. But that, again, if it's a similar thing, it's okay. Just write down whatever comes up. Okay, and which want does that stir up?
I think
Well, for me personally, I'd have to say the biggest gain was that I stopped putting things off. It's been 8 weeks since I took the course. I wanted to lose 15 pounds. I did it. It's gone. I wanted to join a gym. I did it. I've been working out. Feels great. Those business calls that you feel intimidated about, get rid of the intimidation. You do it. Financially, it comes back to you. Not wanting to call my mother, no problem. Call her all the time. Just all the things that I wanted to golf. My tee time is 9:20 tomorrow. Just things that you had blockages for. You get rid of those blockages and you just go for it. So personally, that was a gain, and the rest of the gains just followed just by getting rid of all the garbage that was in the way. So it's really been a terrific 2 months.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
amazed.
Before we work on the next thing we'll be working on, let's review what we've accomplished up until this point. So take your large chart of emotions out for a minute, and we'll review everything we've covered up until now. So just to review what we've accomplished up until this point, we've come a long way. We started with just identifying whatever we were feeling in the moment, then tracing it to the root feeling, like the apathy, the grief, the lust, the anger, the pride, or even the courageousness, acceptance, and peace. And as you saw, as you let go of a little bit of that feeling, you're letting go of a little bit of everything underneath it. Then yesterday, or the last couple of tapes, we focused on the wanting approval and wanting control. And then we saw that the wanting approval and wanting control was underlying, or all the feelings. So every time you let go of a little bit of the wanting approval or the wanting to control, you were letting go of everything underneath it. Now we've added the wanting security, or wanting survival. That's what's at the root of everything. If you let go of all of your wanting security or survival, you'll be completely imperturbable. So if you would take a moment and write on your chart the wanting security or survival right here above where we have wanting approval and control, in between imperturbability and those two little boxes. That will be a reminder to you that that is the root of all of this. Now, just to take a step back for a moment, some of you may have been wondering where thinking fits into all of this. Well, the reason we don't focus a lot on thinking in this course is that thinking is all the way at the bottom. Every one of even these smaller individual feelings is made up of sometimes hundreds or thousands of thoughts. So every time that you let go of some of the wanting approval, control, or survival, not only are you letting go of all the feelings underneath it, but you're also letting go of all the millions of thoughts. That's why a lot of you may have noticed already that as you release, your mind gets a lot quieter without you trying to do anything about it. And that's also why we don't encourage people to do positive thinking. There's nothing wrong with positive thinking. It's certainly much better than negative thinking. But I think you can start to see that if you're working all the way down here, you're going to be in trouble. But if you're willing to start letting go of the 3 wants, your thinking is automatically going to get a lot more positive. And the results you'll see in your life will be very dramatic. So let's continue by working on the next release sheet. Turn to the page in your book that says seeing you're wanting approval, wanting to control, and wanting security. It should be the next page in your workbook. Now this sheet can be a lot of fun because the purpose of this sheet is to start to show you how to see you're wanting approval, wanting to control, and wanting survival when it's in operation. Once you start to recognize it, it makes it easier and easier to start letting it go. If you don't see it, it's hard to let go of it. But once you see it, you can start letting it go. So what I'd like you to do is take a few moments and list the ways that you seek approval, try to control, and seek security. And when you completed that, we'll start again. Before we get started, I just want to remind you at home and you here, there's nothing wrong with anything that you put down on this list. Just because you put it down doesn't mean you have to stop doing it. I mean, one of the ways most of us seek approval is by giving gifts. That doesn't mean you have to stop giving gifts. All it means is that if you're about to give a gift, check to see which want is stirred up. If you release it first, maybe you'll give a different gift. Maybe you won't give someone, you may have someone on your gift list that you really don't want to give a gift to. You're just wanting their approval, and you give it to them every year. Might save you a little money. So you'll see that as you start to let go of the wanting approval and wanting to control, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to modify your behavior. All you'll be doing is freeing yourself from the compulsion to have to do some of these things. So you have more of a choice. So who'd like to start? And we'll go around. We'll work on one of each. Is that a volunteer?
Yes, that's a volunteer.
Okay, great. Okay.
Seek approval. Be nice.
Be nice.
I feel like you have to be nice.
A lot of people feel that way. Okay. And which one does that stir up?
Approval.
Right now? Approval?
Yeah.
I'll be quiet and just let you release it.
Okay.
Okay. What about control?
I can get real irritated or just be real cold to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a way of trying to get them to come over to my way of thinking.
Sure. Okay. And does that stir up the wanting to control as you talk about it?
Yeah.
Are you letting it go?
Yeah, that's a pretty dumb one. It doesn't work.
No. No one said these things worked.
Okay. The other one?
Yes, and wanting.
Having money in the bank.
Okay, that's one of the ways you try to get security.
Security, yeah.
Yes. Okay, and as you talk about it, can you get a sense of that wanting security?
Yeah. Some of it went away.
Some,
Yeah.
you're holding on to some though,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and are you wanting to control your security?
Yes.
There it goes.
Okay.
Did you let it go?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Give yourself some checks all around.
Okay, thank you.
So, who'd like to go next? Rodney.
I've got one on the...
Well, start with the top. Start with the
It's
approval.
the same as hers, it was being nice.
Oh, okay.
Same thing, and I had a second on mine was paying taxes.
Paying taxes? That's the way you try to get approval?
In effect, so the IRS won't be on my case.
Okay. Some people do that for security, too. Oh, no.
That could be true, too.
Yeah, okay. But are you aware of any, which want are you aware of in the moment as you talk about it?
Probably being approval.
Approval?
Definitely.
Okay, I'll be quiet and let you release it.
Okay, that feels better.
Okay, what about on the control?
Control side, by trying hard at what I do to control desired outcome. sometimes I try too hard, I overcompensate, put
Mhm.
forth more energy than I really need to.
Sure. Okay. And are you aware of any of the wanting to control right now?
Yes. Yeah, it's a little bit chronic in my personality,
Mhm.
thing that I need to get rid of.
Okay, so just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting to control. Did you let it go?
Most of it.
Well, so you're saving some, okay.
Save a little bit.
A little bit, okay. And is that more of the wanting to control?
Yes.
Did you let it go?
Releasing.
Good. Terrific. And what about on the wanting security?
I think security, I said conserving my spending.
Conserving your spending? Okay. And again...
I'll put this, the social security taxes down there. The income tax is above.
Okay. That's funny. Okay, so are you aware of any of the wanting security right now?
Yes. That's better. That's an easier one than the middle one for me.
Good. Terrific. All right, good. So who else?
Thank you.
Michael. So let's start with the way that you seek approval.
I get a paycheck.
Get a paycheck? Okay.
It's approval.
Okay. Are you releasing it?
Yeah.
As you can see, a lot of these can have more than one want attached to them. Sometimes you can put one thing on all three.
Okay, yeah, I feel good about that.
Okay. And what about on the control? What'd you write down for a way that you seek control?
By thinking or analysis.
By thinking or analysis?
Mhm.
That's a big way for most of us.
It's approval.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's control, too.
Okay. Are you letting them go?
Yeah, the approval went away. The control went away.
Good.
Yeah.
More checks.
Okay.
And what about the ways that you seek security?
By hugs.
Hugs?
Getting hugs.
Okay.
Yeah. It feels good.
What, the hugs or the releasing? All the above, I understand.
But not wanting the hugs, just
Right.
the hugs.
Right. Okay, good. Did you let go of
Yeah,
the
I
wanting
feel
security?
great, yeah.
Okay, great. Terrific. Who wants to go next? Mary. Let's start with the control.
The top one is approval.
Oh, then let's start with approval. I'm not particular.
Okay. Cooking for others.
Cooking for others? Okay.
Get approval from that. I can let that go.
Good. What about control?
Getting clients to say yes, closing.
Closing the deal. Right.
My boyfriend accuses me of always doing.
You're closing all the time, right? Right.
Getting people to say yes to what I want.
Okay. Now, are you aware of the wanting to control there?
Yeah.
I think you're letting it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And what about security?
Setting my alarm system in my house every time I go out.
Mhm.
That gives me a feeling of security.
Okay.
That
Are you-
I can't let go of that.
Remember, not the action. There's nothing wrong with the action. I'll tell you an interesting story about that, although it'll probably start more of you wanting security. If you ever noticed, very often, when there's one robbery in an area, all of a sudden there's a rash of robberies. It has nothing, it's not like all the robbers get together and say, hey, let's hit this neighborhood. It has nothing to do with that. One person has a robbery. All the other neighbors get their wanting security stirred up. Instead of going, oh no, I hope that doesn't happen to me. What are they holding in mind? It's going to happen
I've
to me.
been robbed twice. So
Right, see? So every time you turn on the alarm, if you don't release the wanting security, you're holding in mind, oh, I hope this will protect me from those robbers who are about to come in my house. So there's nothing wrong with turning on the alarm, but if you release each time, that's what's going to make your house safer than any alarm system.
I put the alarm on for good measure, just in case.
I think you're still wanting security. You didn't hear what I just said. I said, take the action, just release.
Okay.
Did you let go of the wanting security?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But just look, do this ongoing. Every time you go to set the alarm, let go of wanting security.
Okay.
Okay? Good. So who else?
I'll give you mine.
Okay, great.
Some of them are in common. It seems the international language for approval is money, so buying things for others.
Buying things for others, okay.
And that was easy to let go because we discussed it at lunch. When David bought me lunch, I gave him all the approval he needed.
See, it sometimes works. That's funny.
I even put a check for you.
What about control?
Control, definitely intellectually manipulate people.
Okay.
That's probably bad, but
Yeah, wait. What about the release?
that one's a tough one that I've worked with before, as a matter of fact.
Well, but right now, let's get a release or two right now.
Okay.
Just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting to control.
Yeah, let that one go. That's
Good. Is there any more?
Yeah, there's still a little bit there.
All right. Might as well let all the wanting to control that's there now. Might as well let it all go. Do you want
Feels
to go?
much better.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. What about the wanting security?
Something that I looked at in ways in which I do, and I found the most common thing that I think I do is isolate myself. You know, go home.
Mhm.
If I'm away from all the people that I'm seeking approval from, and well, maybe just other than myself, I feel most secure when I'm away from all the external
Mhm.
risks that are out there.
Sure, isolating. That's a
Yeah.
big one for many people, especially today. All right, so could you just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting security?
Definitely. Yeah, let that go too.
Good. Terrific. All right, who else would like to do it? Dave.
On approval, by volunteering or doing or giving, I think is the ways that I tend to seek approval in many instances.
Like at lunch?
Exactly like at lunch, because under control, I might add.
Wait, let's
I-
get a release first. you want to hold on to that one. I like being a volunteer. Now, again, remember, there's nothing wrong with the behavior. But as you release, you'll have a choice. Sometimes you'll volunteer totally out of free choice, and you'll feel good about it. But right now, I'm sure there are lots of times you volunteer and you go, oh, I can't believe I just volunteered for that. Why did I knew I shouldn't have volunteered? So go back and see if you can just become aware of the wanting approval. And remember, it doesn't mean you can't volunteer if you still want to.
Okay. I got in touch with that and let it go.
Good. Okay. Now what about on the control?
On the control, for example, Chris thought I was seeking approval. In fact, I was being very manipulative because I was trying to control him, because there's something I'm going to have him do for me. So, as a result, I was controlling.
So what did you put down there? Manipulation? Is that what you have?
Manipulate people in an attempt to control them.
Okay.
And I'm embarrassed to say that, but it's true.
So which one does it stir up now, the wanting approval or the wanting to control?
Control.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you let it go? Okay, good.
I
Okay.
did.
Now what about the security? What's some way you seek security?
Actually, working gives me a sense of security because through that I feel a financial freedom, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're aware of any of the wanting security right now?
Mm-hmm. I think I let that go.
Good.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. Feels better. Thanks.
All right. You're welcome. Anyone else want to do one? Did everyone do one yet?
No, I'm left.
You're left?
I'm left.
Does that mean you want to do one?
Yeah, I'll do one.
Okay, great. So let's start at the top. What's one of the ways that you What's one of the ways that you seek approval?
Okay, so many here.
Just pick your favorite.
Okay, one of my favorites is to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
You like that one? Okay. It's another popular one.
Yeah. Chosen by many.
All right. Are you aware of the wanting approval?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Did you let it go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it still somewhere?
I kind of had to let go of wanting to let that go, too.
Oh, okay.
I kind of did that.
I mean, the control the release.
The controlling, yeah. The control of the release.
Okay. Now what about on control? What's one of the ways that you try to control?
I correct people.
Correct people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, if they make a mistake. They're not perfect.
Right.
I want to make sure they know.
Right.
If they're not perfect, I am.
Right. Are you releasing the wanting to control? Good.
Yeah, just, I mean, making this list is, I can see this is going to be good.
Right. By the way,
Yeah.
I would definitely suggest that you continue going with it. Whatever you've written down so far, just keep going with it, because it's really an eye-opener. It will really help you start to undo a lot of the wanting approval and wanting control,
Right.
and the wanting security.
Right, yeah.
What about, speaking of security,
Speaking of that, one of the ways that I think one of the ways that I really feel secure is this is a good case in point, confusion.
mm-hmm.
And that allows me to not, to not make a mistake.
Right. Keeping yourself
Okay.
in confusion.
I
Sure.
keep it, yeah, and so I don't make a decision.
Mhm.
I keep analyzing, I keep, you
Mhm.
know.
Sure.
so-
Again, that's a real popular one. I mean, a lot of people hide in that.
Mhm. So, yeah,
So just allow yourself to become aware of the wanting security.
okay. That's good.
Did you let it go?
Yeah.
Did you let it all go?
No.
I didn't think so.
Do I have to?
No, you don't have to. You can hold on to it as long as you want.
I may not survive if I let this go.
Now, again, you can still choose to be confused.
Mhm.
But don't you notice that often you're automatically just in a state of confusion and you can't even get yourself out of it?
Right.
Because it's just running. You don't have a
It
choice.
doesn't feel, it's not a place I would consciously choose to be, but I think subconsciously somehow it's safe,
Well, it seems safe.
seems safe.
I don't know how safe it is to be confused. But it
Yeah.
seems safe.
And that's why I'd like to let it go.
All right, so just allow yourself to become aware of that wanting security.
It's real hard to get in touch with that.
Yeah,
for
you
me.
wanting to control it.
Yeah.
Could you let that go?
little bit.
A little bit. It's okay. This is a deep issue for you.
Now I'm wanting approval.
Now you're wanting approval for how you're releasing? Or just wanting approval in general?
Approval that I'm releasing from you.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you allow that to release?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. How's it now?
I think it's going to need some work. I think I feel better.
Okay, well, you can
I
keep going
feel
on your
better.
own. Sure, that's fine. Why don't you just keep going on your own? Okay, I'll take you off the hook.
Will you?
Yes, I will.
I must have released. President of my games.
Right.
No, thanks.
Okay, good. Okay, anyone else want to do another one? You want to just keep going on your own? You can keep going as I'm working with the home viewer. So, why don't we do some work together now? Start with something way that you seek approval. Just allow yourself to focus on it. And just allow yourself to become aware of which want it stirs up in the moment as you focus on that. Is it a wanting approval, a wanting control, or a wanting security? Now I'll just allow you to let it go. I know you can do it. Okay. Now just check that same item again, that way that you seek approval, and see if there's any more want stirred up in the moment. And whatever want it is, could you allow it to release? Okay, now let's take a way that you try to control. Whichever one you're focusing on, just allow the want to come up into your awareness. The wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting security. And as it comes into your awareness, see if you can just keep letting it go. Sometimes it comes in waves. So as each wave comes up, just allow yourself to let it go. Now focus on that item again, just to check. See if there's any more wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting security there right now. And as you become aware of it, could you just allow it to release? Okay, now let's focus on a way that you seek security or survival. Now, as you focus on that item, see which want it stirs up. Does it stir up the wanting security, or is it a wanting approval or wanting control? And again, you can just use these pauses here for your own releasing. Now focus on that item again, that way that you seek security or survival. And just see if you can allow that want to come into your awareness and then easily allow it to release. Okay, now I suggest you keep going on your own. Take as long as you need to complete this sheet. And it's also a sheet you can keep coming back to. Keep adding as you catch yourself, this is a way I try to control, or this is a way I seek approval. Write it down and release. And it's good to keep a running tab on this because it will help you see clearly when you are wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting security or survival.
So now we're going to work on our next release sheet. So turn in your books to the page that says happiness. What we're all looking for is to be happy. It's something that we all have in common. The bottom line is that we want to be happy. And the fact is that we're very often looking for happiness in all the wrong places. And we wonder why we get disappointed. What we're going to be doing on this worksheet is looking at what it is that you need in order to be happy. And also the other side, what it is that you need to avoid in order to be happy. And exploring the wants that are connected there with that and letting those go. So I'm just going to give you a moment here to write down some of the things that you need in order to be happy and some of the things that you need to avoid in order to be happy. So let's just take a moment to do that. So let's do some releasing on this sheet together now. And those of you at home, just release along as you're watching others release, focusing on the things that you've discovered for yourself and releasing the wants around that. So who would like to go first? Let's take a pair from each of you. Michael.
Okay.
What is it that you need in order to be happy?
I need time. I need time to be happy.
Oh, okay. And what want is there when you think about that? The want.
Control.
Okay. Just going to give you a moment to release it yourself, Michael. Okay, good, all right. And what is something that you need to avoid in order to be happy?
Traffic.
Okay. What does that stir up?
Control.
All right.
Okay, no, that's good. That feels good.
Okay, good. Just carry on working on your own on this list, taking each thing. Give yourself a couple of checks there. So who's next? Rodney,
Yes.
what do you need in order to be happy?
To do what I want to do.
Okay. And which want is connected with that? The wanting approval?
Control.
Okay.
Definitely.
Just allow yourself to focus on that. I'm just going to let you release it. Okay, good.
That was better.
All right. And on the other side, what is it that you need to avoid?
Debt.
Ah, okay. And which one gets stirred up there?
Security, partially.
Uh-huh. Okay. So just allow yourself to be aware of the wanting security. Okay. Okay, good. Just wanted to say to you, especially on the first one, in what you need in order to be happy, it's not that you shouldn't have those things. Again, it's just the wanting that's connected with that you're letting go of. You should have that. No, that's wonderful. It's just the wanting and the conflict that gets stirred up with that we're letting go of. Okay, good. Thank you. So who's next? Dave. What is it that you need in order to be happy?
I think good relationships.
Okay. And what want is there in the moment about that?
Control.
All right. Okay.
let that go.
Good. What else? What do you need to avoid in order to be happy?
Well, obviously, poor relationships.
Uh-huh.
But I think a lack of financial freedom would is important in that aspect to me, probably.
Okay. And which one is underlying that? The approval or the control or the security, survival?
Security.
Okay.
I'd let that go.
Okay, good.
Getting easier and easier all the time.
Yeah, really does. Okay.
Yeah.
So give yourself a couple of checks there.
Thank you.
And just keep going with your list, focusing on whatever else you have there. So who else? Who's next? Okay, Cheryl. What's something that you need in order to be happy?
I need to release.
Okay. And what's the want connected there?
I think it's control.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you let it go?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Okay.
And on the other side then, what is it that you need to avoid?
Feeling like I have no money.
Okay. And what want does that store up?
I think that's security. Boy, it's like it just started and then it's like boom, not going anywhere.
You're wanting to control your security?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Just go back to it and check, see if there's any more wanting security.
It's like it's still going. It feels really good.
Okay, good. It's just releasing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who else?
I have some that I can let go. I put the first thing down, what I need in order to be happy is self-approval.
Oh, okay.
And the moment I wrote it down, I had to let it go. It was all approval.
All right.
So let that go. And what I need to avoid, I put conflict, and no matter what aspect I'm looking at, a personal relationship, working relationship, whatever, avoid
Okay.
conflict.
What want does that store up?
Control.
All right.
And yeah, I can let that go.
Okay, good. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Okay, what I need in order to be happy is independence
Oh, okay.
and just all together. And I think that's security.
Okay, so just allow yourself to be aware of it.
Okay.
Did you let it go?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
What is it that you need to avoid in order to be happy?
One of the things that I think I need to avoid are people that abuse alcohol and drugs.
Okay. And which one gets stirred up there?
I think control is one that I
Yeah.
feel.
Just going to give you a moment to allow it to release.
After I can feel that go. I think survival really.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Yeah. And just allow yourself to be aware of that wanting survival. Just see, could you let it go?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How is it now?
It's a lot better.
Good.
Yeah.
You can give yourself a couple of checks
Okay.
there too. Now the bottom line is, as you continue letting go of your wants, you're just going to get happier and happier. And so when you've let go of them all, you're happy all of the time. There is one other thing though too, and that is, as I mentioned slightly earlier, we do have a tendency to look for our happiness in other people, other situations, work, money. And the fact is that really it's not there. It's not that you shouldn't have those things, but the true happiness is really within you. It's inside of you all of the time. And as you release, what you're going to be doing is uncovering that and letting that come through. You are naturally happy. It's just all the negativity and the wants that are on top of that. And as you let go, that's just going to come through more and more and more. So look for the happiness inside of you. We think it's out there, and in fact it's really right here. So if you'll start looking and identifying with it being inside of you, you're just going to move that much faster too, but have all those wonderful things too. Okay, so let's do some releasing now with a home viewer, and follow along. Just continue writing on your list the things that you need in order to be happy and the things that you need to avoid as I work with those at home. So, just pick something off of your sheet that you need in order to be happy. Something you feel you need. What's the underlying want connected with that one thing? Is it the wanting approval, the wanting to control, or the wanting security, survival? Now that you're aware of it, I'm just going to be quiet and allow you to let it go. Just check, see if there's any more of it there. Did you let it go? Now on the other side, find something that you need to avoid in order to be happy. And just allow yourself to be aware of the want that's connected with that. Just allow yourself to let it go. Let's pick something else that you need in order to be happy. Whatever that thing is, just allow yourself to become aware of the want that's there with that. And just allow yourself to release it. And now on the other side, pick something else that you need to avoid in order to be happy. And allow yourself to identify the want that's there about that. I'll be quiet while you just let it go. I'll let you continue on your own. You really don't need me here to ask you the questions. You can just allow the want to come into your awareness and allow it to release. But you don't even really need to ask yourself the questions. Just allow yourself to focus on whatever want is there and allow it to release. And so keep going until you've addressed the things on your list that you're wanting to avoid and also that you feel you need in order to be happy. Until you feel good. So take some extra time to do that. And when you've done that, take a break for yourself. Just to continue your releasing.
When I first took the method, I was, the first weekend I was very confused. I really didn't understand. I really wasn't in touch with a lot of my feelings or didn't want to be. And when they introduced wanting control and wanting approval, that confused me even a little bit more. But I kept using it. I released on little things that I could. And I waited to release on larger issues in my life. But I noticed amazing things happened the first week after I took the method. I mean, between the 2 weekends, I made a couple of sales and some unexpected things happened that I never thought about. I mean, they just happened. And I didn't think I was getting it. But obviously I was getting it. And I just continued with it. And by the second week, I understood it a lot better and a lot clearer.
The greatest benefit I've received from it has to do with my role as a father. I have 5 children, and raising children for me is the greatest challenge in my life, a lot tougher than business or anything else that I do. And I found that by being able to release, I'm able to be very supportive and loving to my children and still give them the discipline that they need. So it's enabled me to really find a balance as a parent and also not have my life consumed by raising my children. I'm able to do a lot of other things as well.
What we're going to be doing now is have you write some gains for us. There's a page in your book, the next page along, that's headed gains. And as we're nearing the close of the class here, I'd just like to give you the opportunity to write down some of the gains that you've had. So we're going to take some time here. I'm going to give you some time to do this. It can be small gains, it can be large gains, it can be general gains, but gains that you feel that you have had from the class so far. In fact, those of you at home, I'd also like you to do this too. Take some time now and look in your gains book if you need to refresh your memory, but write down some of those gains. There's a couple of reasons for this. One of the reasons is, again, it will validate you for your progress. Another reason is, I'd like you to send your gains in to us. We really want to know how you're doing and hear your gains from taking the course. There's also another reason. When we receive your gains sheet, you are considered a graduate. You have finished the class, and you will automatically receive from us our newsletter, and you'll also automatically get to hear of anything else that we do. We have graduate get-togethers at times, and you'll be notified of those things. So it's really important to us that you send those in so you can receive that information. Also, if you have other people who are doing the course with you, make sure that they send in their gains too, and that way they can have that information. Okay, so take the time now to write your gains, and don't forget to send them in to us.
As you can see, we've really accomplished quite a bit up until this point, and there's a few more things I want to do with all of us here and those of you at home. But before we do that, I just have a couple of things to remind you about having to do with your special area of interest workbooks. First of all, please complete the book that you've started all the way through the last section. And if you want to, you can go back and complete the other 2 workbooks, the ones you haven't worked with yet, and take them all the way from the beginning all the way to the end. But in the beginning, last week, we were working with feelings. You don't need to go back to working with feelings. All you need to do is focus on the 3 wants and use the sheets to help bring up the 3 wants and let them go. Turn to the page in your workbook that says the 6 steps at the top of it. It's right after the sheet that says gains. Now the 6 steps are really a summation of everything we've been doing up until this point. The reason we bring them out at the very end is these would just be words up until this point. But we've really covered, from many different angles, everything on this sheet. Now the first step of the 6 steps is you must want imperturbability more than you want approval, control, or security. If you don't want the imperturbability, you're not going to release. And your wanting imperturbability is what enabled you to complete the tapes and also be here throughout the whole 4 days. It's what a lot of people hear about this course. We're starting to be available now on television. There are radio commercials. We've done mailings. The word is really starting to get out, but only a small percentage of people really make the choice to go for their freedom. You're a special group of people. Those of you here taking the class and those of you at home, you're a special person because you are really wanting that imperturbability more than you're wanting to just want, especially the 3 wants, the wanting approval, the wanting to control, and the wanting security or survival. Now another way you can use step 1 is very simple. You can ask yourself, if you're in the middle of a situation that you're really upset, say you're having an argument with someone you care about, and you catch yourself really wanting their approval, you can ask yourself, would I rather want this person's approval, or would I rather be imperturbable? If you ask yourself that question, it's an easy choice. Of course, you'd rather be imperturbable than sit here wanting this person's approval. It's very uncomfortable. You can use that any time where you find you're getting a little stuck. You can just ask yourself, what would I rather have, imperturbability or wanting? And I think you'll choose the imperturbability. Now, step 2 is decide you can do the method and be imperturbable. Now, that's something you're doing every time you use the method. You're making that decision. Yes, I can release. Yes, I can let go. Yes, I can be imperturbable. Step 3 is really the essence of the method, is see that all your feelings culminate in just the 3 wants, the wanting approval, the wanting to control, and the wanting security and survival. And see that immediately, no matter what you're doing, and immediately let go of the wanting security, the wanting survival, the wanting approval, and wanting control. As you do that, you'll develop a tremendous momentum, which brings us to the next step, which is step 4. Make its use constant. Use all situations, whether alone or with people. Now that's very important. If you make releasing constant, that's where you really start to see many benefits. So releasing is not just when you take time out. You can be releasing in the middle of a conversation. You can be releasing at your office. You can be releasing at home. You can be releasing while you're driving to work. No matter what you're doing, there are always wants coming up, and you can use those wants as an opportunity to get a lot freer. Now, step 5, if you're stuck, let go of wanting to control the stuckness. Now, if you notice, Nikki and I have done that with you quite a bit throughout the course, especially the second 2 days. What we've been doing is whenever you're having difficulty with releasing, all you need to do is let go of wanting to control that, and you're back on track again. It's very easy, really. It's like the escape valve of the method. If you just let go of wanting to control whatever you're experiencing in the moment, it gets better. It unhooks whatever's tight inside. And stuckness is anything where you're having a difficulty either in life or with your releasing. So use that liberally. When in doubt, let go of wanting to control it, and you'll be back on track again. Now, step 6 is each time you use the method, you are a bit freer and happier. If you do this continually, you will continually become freer and happier. Now, as you keep using the method and you develop a momentum, you'll see that there are many benefits. And by the way, that's the main reason we've been talking about gains a lot throughout this whole course. Because that's the way you validate step 6 for you. You see that, yes, I'm feeling happier, I'm feeling lighter, things are working better. And what that does is it helps bring you back to step 1. It reinforces your desire for imperturbability. Because you're seeing benefits, you go, wow, I want more of this. This is great, I wonder how much better it can get. So that all the steps really work together. Now, Lester Levinson, the founder of the Sedona Institute, is a believer in simplicity. Not only did he simplify everything we've done over the past 4 days into 6 steps, recently he further simplified it into just 3. So turn the page now and take a look at your ticket to imperturbability. Now, if you carry out these 3 things, you'll gain your imperturbability very, very quickly. The first one is release only the 3 wants. And what we mean by that is sometimes we'll forget and we'll get caught up in our feelings again. Now, I don't want you to start suppressing your feelings. I don't mean don't have feelings. Of course you'll have feelings come up. But as the feelings come up, remember to start becoming more and more tuned in to what the want is in the moment, and allow yourself to focus on the want and let go of that. Because the quickness of this method has to do with the fact that every time you're letting go of the wanting approval, the wanting to control, or the wanting security or survival of all limitation, the thing that causes all feelings. So stay with the 3 wants and keep releasing them. The second one is, again, Lester's really big also on being continuous with the releasing. So basically, it's very important to always be using the method no matter what you're doing. We're always doing something with our wants. We're either suppressing them or expressing them. Why not let them go? As you've seen so far, with all the releasing you've done up until this point, you've seen all the tremendous benefits that you've been getting. And by the way, this is just the beginning. This is just a small, very small taste of what you can get from releasing. You've only been doing it now for a little over a week, those of you here and also those of you at home. Imagine what it's going to be like a month from now or a year from now as you've really started to let go of a significant amount of your internal wants. It's really something to look forward to. And also, as you can tell from what we've done here in the class, as you've noticed, we've been asking the releasing questions less and less, and also as obviously you doing at home have had to teach yourself the method. The method is a do-it-yourself tool. You have everything you need within yourself to gain complete imperturbability. As I said a few times early in the tape, is that what we've been trying to do with these tapes is work ourselves out of a job. What we've tried to accomplish is give you everything you need so that you can reach that top state of imperturbability. And you now have everything you need to go all the way. So, congratulations. And before I say any more, I'd like to invite Nikki to come up and see what she wants to add to what I've said so far.
I would really like to thank you, both those of you at home and those of you here, for really a wonderful 4 days and for sharing this experience with us. You really have something inside of you now that you can use for the rest of your life, and it's just going to be wonderful. It's just going to continue opening up so many doors, just beyond all your expectations. And it just really importantly, keep writing your gains. Although we've been doing it over this 4 days and you've been doing it all through the tapes, keep it going. You'll see in a year's time, 2 years' time, you will be amazed at just how far you've come, and you'll have it there in writing. Yeah, you're going to look at it and say, oh my goodness, this is what's happened. So do validate your gains. And I think it's always helpful also to put around reminders for yourself to release. I know somebody who has a little card by her computer at work, and it just says, what's my now want? She also has it on the dashboard of her car and also on her refrigerator. And you can do things for yourself. You can create your own little visual reminders too that really just spark that, oh, release, you know, and create those for yourself, because that's what's going to be really important in continuing your releasing. I just really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've really enjoyed this 4 days and spending this time with you. And I guess I'd just like to tell you that I love you.
And I just want to second that. Thank you for spending this time with us. Those of you at home and those of you here, you gave us the opportunity to do something that we really love to do, which is share this wonderful technique with others. So thank you, and the biggest thank you can give us is to reach that imperturbability for yourself, because it's right there waiting for you to achieve it. So thank you, we love you, and hopefully we'll be hearing about your gains soon.
Please feel free to review any part of this tape program. The more you work with it, the more you'll get out of it. Work with it until you know you've made it your own. As you work with this material, you'll see that it has been the greatest investment you've ever made in yourself. Your happiness, imperturbability, and all the other positive changes in your life will continue to accumulate. I want to thank you for investing your time in these tapes. We at the Sedona Institute would appreciate any help you could give us to get this message out to the world. Encourage your friends and family to get their own copy of this program. Please send in your gain sheet with your name and address and referral sheets at the back of your workbooks so that we can officially make you a Sedona Method graduate. Being a graduate entitles you to many benefits, including special discounts, eligibility to use our retreat, and a subscription to our newsletter, and much more. We have regular retreats and meetings scheduled at our beautiful retreat center in Sedona, Arizona. You have been seeing views from our retreat center at the beginning of each tape. Releasing is simple. Remember, all you need to do is release your wanting approval, wanting to control, and wanting security. When you are completely released and free of your wants, you will be in total control of your life and feel only love for one and for all.